Bill Carroll for Zenny62 Media, and I'm working my way through my watch list for the upcoming college football season. Of course, the draft to follow. Some of these players are, and some of these are not draft eligible. I'm going to start with a player who had entered his name to the transfer portal and then withdrew it after having one of the great sophomore seasons, really, of any defensive lineman at any level of college football, and that's Ckelby Givens, which is spelled Ckelby from Southern University. Now, despite his lack of size, about 6'1 and a half, about 234 pounds, he not only played with his hand in the dirt, but at times rushed from the interior, playing sort of a four-eye kind of spot. So he moves around the defense. He'll need to get bigger if he wants to stay a defensive lineman in any way, shape, or form. But if he can get into the high 240s, which I think his frame can carry, I could see him being a designated pass rusher, a guy who maybe stands up at times but plays with his hand in dirt at times. Think of Darryl Tapp if you can get to that maybe 248 range. But last year at 61 total tackles, 32 of them solo, 21 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 8 quarterback hurries, 4 forced fumbles, including a scoop and score on one of them. A terrific all-around defender. And if he has a even better year this year, he might actually, despite having a year of eligibility left after this season, may end up declaring early. Another player that I'm just a huge fan of at Boise State is Ahmed Hassanein, and another one of those players that moves around. Sometimes the interior, sometimes exterior, sort of more in the Michael Bennett kind of role. Big year last year. All Mountain West first team, college sports communicators, second team All-American, academic, was also a all academic Mountain West, and was a 2-time Mountain West Scholar Athlete of the Week. Last year, monster year, 12.5 sacks, which was second in the conference, 16.5 tackles for loss, third in the conference, and had at least half a sack in 9 straight games, which was the longest FBS streak since 2015. Was a starting defensive end on the team. Once again, good size, 6'2 3/4, about 273 pounds. Born in Cairo, Egypt, grew up in California, and once again, I think that his future is as a move-around player. If he can get a little bit heavier, not a lot, but puts on maybe somewhere between 6 to 12 pounds, plays in the upper 270s, 277 to maybe 282, could be a true, like I said, player that plays everything from 5 technique to 3 technique and has a lot of success. And last but not least, one of my favorites is Anton Juncaj, a player I fell in love with back when he and Jared Verse and the late A.J. Simon were all together as teammates when they were at Albany. He now has found his way to Arkansas. Last year, in his senior year, he's going to be a 6th-year player, but was in 15 games last year for Albany that won the CAA, made it to the FCS semifinals. He's a first-team FCS All-American, had 15 sacks, 21.5 tackles for loss, 55 total tackles, 34 of them solo, 12 quarterback hurries, 5 forced fumbles, 3 pass breakups, had at least 1 sack in 10 out of 15 games, multiple sacks in 3 games, had a monster game against Fordham. Now, Fordham is not the creme de la creme, but just absolutely nuts against them with 4 sacks, part of a 6-tackle game, and also he had a forced fumble and a quarterback hurry. Against Marshall, playing up in competition, had 3 tackles, had a couple of sacks, and 4 total tackles against Hawaii. Once again, playing up a level of competition. He's another guy who's sort of a move-around type player. He's going to be about 273 pounds, about 6'2 and a half, and once again, another guy who might be served well by getting a little bit heavier and kicking inside at times. A lot to like. Not the most bendy, the most explosive, but tremendous hand usage, violent ability to disengage, and sort of Kyle Vanden Bosch-esque in his approach to playing. So I'll have back on the offensive side of the ball tomorrow, but those are 3 very underrated, probably day 3 to day 2, depending on how testing goes, if they all come out, players in the next draft. But once again, one of them may still have another year of college football left. That is all for today. I'll see you again tomorrow.